Welcome, my friends and LEGO Star Wars fans. It is the Bad Batch Attack Shuttle review, set number 75314, and it was out in August of 2021, and it's one that I took a while to get, so I finally have it in my collection, and it's just retired this last year, so you need to either get it really quick if you see one out in the wild, or you're starting to look at aftermarket. I think again these figures and just the success, it's a moderate successful show that I think you're going to see a lot of people they show this shuttle quite a bit in the actual show. The one part I do appreciate Lego doing is that you get basically all of the Bad Batch original members right out of the gate, and the show is just I really think it's amazing. It's had a few ups and downs here and there, but ultimately I think it's done the Clone Force 99 definitely done them right, especially the beginning of the series, and then there's been some pretty interesting pieces as the series has gone on. So with that, there is 6 total minifigures, although I really don't count this guys as a minifigure. There's really nothing, it doesn't have any unique printing. This is a standard build Gonk droid that is included. This did go for $99, which is a little high. I mean, the part count to cost is right in line, especially when you're talking, an extra, 5 total minifigures like that, and unique ones at that. But I think part of it you're paying for the colors, the dark grays and the sand blue is definitely a more expensive piece overall. Black's pretty common, and there are some really unique shaped parts in this particular build. So with that, I'm going to give them a little credit. It is very, very hefty, so we'll get to the build in a second. But I think overall when I look at this, and I will in a little bit, I'll compare it to the Mandalorian shuttle. If you look at that one, which was $60, it was $59.99 with 3 just equally as amazing figures. You could argue those figures were actually a little bit better. That it's like a little bit high on the value. Now you do get these other 2 vehicles. You could argue, were these necessary? That they could have done away with, this particular vehicle. I think in particular they could have done away with. This is just a recolored bark speeder, essentially. This is a cool little inclusion. I like this. And you do see this quite a bit in the series. And that was in the series too. But I mean, seriously, this one was great. I guess it adds to the playability. So for the kids, but then the kids don't want these expensive $100 sets. Can they really afford that? I mean, I guess if you're a fan of the show, this is a perfect Christmas present at $100, right? But that's a lot of chores around the house to get $100 for that set. But maybe, I do see it in the Lego store sometimes when I'm in there. Parents go in there and are willing to drop $100 in a set. I mean, I love them. My kids aren't getting $100 sets. So here is the instruction booklet right here. This is the standard style. It's really good. I love the artwork on it. Everything feels really good when they were building this out. They give you kind of the tons of parts. There's a lot of, we'll go into the advertising here. Luke Skywalker saga. Boy, there's a lot of parts. There's tons of parts in this. Here you go. I've purchased almost every set in this whole series. I didn't get this one. I didn't get Moff Gideon's Cruiser. That one's just out of my price range. Did get the Marauder. We got the Duel. We got the Mandalore or the armor set. Oh, I didn't get the Slave One / Boba Star starship. I didn't get that. I did get the Mandalorian Starfighter. Obviously, Bad Batch Shuttle. I didn't get this one. Legion, of course, got, and then the AT tank. I forget the name. Is it DT? AT. Yeah, something like that. Whatever. We got that. I got that tank. Here you go. They kind of show the end product, the build experience. This is really, they kind of start with the smaller builds right here. Then you move into the front, and where you get tech, and then you kind of keep building the shuttle out further and further until you get the full thing. So it's definitely a hefty build. And let's get into the figures here first. So we'll set that aside. I really love this figure. And I think they had his hairpiece. I forgot to get it. Maybe hold on, let me get his hairpiece. I think this is his hairpiece. Okay, so starting with Hunter here. I really like him. I think this is one of the coolest helmets I've seen. Just great full printing. There's no arm printing, maybe a little bit of a miss there, but it's pretty solid. And he's got his gear and back. There you go. He looks like a semi-angry clone face. He's got the chill face. I love the bandana that he's got on, and the face painting is so cool. I will say there is a hairpiece for him, so you can kind of switch him off because he basically goes this way for a lot of the show, and then you've got the standard clone helmet right there, and there's no ear holes, which is cool. I kind of like how they did these particular figures. Then coming up, this is interesting. This is the Echo figure. Here he's had some surgeries. He's got all sorts of things going on because he had his chip removed. So he's able to kind of become one of the 466. He wasn't part of that originally, but great printing. He becomes part of the crew. There you go. He's got his helmet just like that. So real amazing figure as well. And then we have Rekka. This is a pretty solid, and he really looks extra menacing. So he does look, well, he doesn't look bigger. He is in the show a little bit bigger, so they could have given him a little bit bigger of a torso. I mean, it's really hard to kind of create the height that would have been needed. There you go. There's kind of the goofy guy. I don't know. The only thing is the voice sometimes, at how he talks, and then he's got really cool shoulder pads. He's got the printing in the back, and he's got a pretty heavy blaster that he likes to carry around, all that kind of stuff. So that's I really love. These three figures are really solid. And this is another one that's really was done right. I've got him on this speeder bike right here, which we'll get into. Just great printing all through here. There's no arm printing. It gave him a slightly different blaster. He's got a backpack because he's kind of a gearhead. He's and there he is with his goggles, all that kind of stuff. He also has a hairpiece as well. He's got some funky hair. Mostly this helmet is just so cool. It's one of the better helmets out there just in general. I mean, look at that. There's printing all the way around. Really solid. Just very cool. And then before we get into Crosshair, the last one, here's this the vehicle, the airspeeder. This is really cool. I mean, I think this is just such a solid little mini build. And it fits, it kind of matches tech, so I really like this. And they did kind of launch this from the back of the ship. It was kind of their kind of clandestine, vehicle here. Really good detailing, great parts, great colors. And you just don't see this much in Star Wars, these colorful type. You see more of these darker versions, so this is pretty cool. This is definitely a welcome addition. I really like that they did that. I think that's worth paying for, and just the build experience itself. was really good. Then as we go into, this is a bark, just a standard bark speeder. The 501st Legion Battle Pack had this almost exactly, pretty close. There might be a couple changes here and there. The coloring's a little bit different, but ultimately is about the same. And these are pretty thick. It's like these oversized Harley motorcycles in a way. And let me pull crosshair off here. Just like this. Get them off. We'll put that back. And, you know, this is a little controversial. Would have been nice to maybe get him with a different helmet. But, you know, he does have his... I don't know. They could have put some stubble around here, but ultimately that's a pretty good figure. And there's the back printing. And he's really kind of turned, ultimately. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen season 1, he kind of turns, and because it's hard to tell whether the speculation is that he just wants to be on the winning side at all times, at all costs, and he's a soldier at all costs, so that's why he's siding with the Empire, even though his chip doesn't work either. Or there is some rumor that maybe it faintly works, and it's just kind of, it's hard for him to overcome what the rest of the Bad Batch has done. So with that, let me move aside. Let's focus in on the shuttle, because that's really the major... Well, I really, at the end, I'll be honest, I got this set for the figures. Like, there's no doubt this set is all about the figures. And this is the main attraction right here. And it's just... It's got so much heft to it. It's really an amazing... I mean, one of the better shuttles I've seen in a long, long time. It opens up nicely, so you can open up like this a little bit just to get enough room. It opens all the way up. The only downside is that it does kind of rub up against here, so over time that would cause some damage. So that's kind of a miss on Lego's part. So I don't know how that would get addressed, but if it was played with, it would cause damage. But in the interior, okay, so a couple things. There were complaints that it's not big enough. Like, you're paying $100. I mean, I guess if you paid 120, 130, 140, somewhere in that range, they probably could have upsized this a little bit and added some more cargo space. But frankly, I don't know. Like, the most you're really going to want to put in here is probably the Gonk Droid anyways. So just throw this guy in there. Plop it on back down. You know, and it doesn't even go in well. Let me get to a better spot here. Let's see if we can get him. I think we got to get him flat before he'll... Oh, because I moved his feet. So you got to move his feet back. There. Now it'll fall all the way down. So, you know, you can kind of fit the Gonk in there, hide him in there. I'm actually going to leave him. But there's some really, really cool printing. You can move these wings down just like that. Yeah. Actually, what I'm going to do, we're going to move the camera just like that. Look at that cool printing. Oh, man. There's 2 prints. And then... there you go, you get the dash. I really do like a lot of the shaping that is done. So for example, in here, they just do a good job overall. This actually moves a little bit to kind of give that angle. It's just really cool techniques. And then these wings are fantastic. I forget if this slides. Oh no. Did I break it? Okay, so that just rests right in there. It's really crazy how this is set up. So love how the wing The wings can fly up just like that. So this is when it's in landing position. You do see this on the show. And it takes off, and then the wings come down, just like that. It's definitely hard to see. Just like that. There we go. Here's the shuttle from the back. These are those foils that we were talking about. They've got so this can open up. Oh man. The only thing I would say, so the foils open up just like that, and so it can take off. Here's kind of again how it opens up, and it kind of sits right there, just like that. Pretty neat how they kind of have this shaped and angled. And then here's kind of how the wings look. Again, it gives you that little bit more, less, smooth. But again, this is the top side. This is what you're gonna really be looking at. In a lot of models, that's kind of the problem. They're not really meant to be designed how they look like from the bottom. This one doesn't look too bad actually from the bottom. I've seen a lot worse. The only thing I don't like is these things tend to pop off pretty easily. Literally, you go to grab it and you just kind of bump it and they shoot off. So that would be the only other complaint that I would have there. But there's the stickers. But just overall, absolutely fantastic. I'm thinking about hanging this one at some point. I'll definitely leave it. I'm not going to break this down for parts, at least as of right now, unless I get other ideas or I get desperate for sand blue. I don't have any current plans to get rid of that shuttle. So there it is. You got the shuttle, the bark speeder, good old Gonk, Crosshair, Tech, Echo, Hunter, and Wrecker. So you don't get Omega in this. That's where she was finally released in the Justifier set with Cad Bane. I am hoping at some point, that they re-released Omega in another set. She's now a teenager. I'd actually probably more prefer her in her current state with her really cool purple crossbow. Her cool bow. That's kind of I would love to have that actually, as opposed to her just kind of being taken prisoner, as in the Justifier kind of thing. So hopefully that becomes a reality, that there's another set or two. I think they should only do a couple more sets from the Bad Batch. Definitely do Rex, do another Omega set. Maybe a couple others, Rampart I think we need to have made, maybe even an Emperor scene, I don't know, but there's definitely some things. Oh, the other thing I wanted to do, just to kind of showcase it off, I did want to show at the very end of the video here, kind of showcase off, let's get these figures out of the way, the difference between the attack shuttle and the Mandalorian shuttle. I mean, look at that. So it's definitely a heftier build. There's more parts. There's probably about 100 more parts in the attack shuttle. So there's a little bit extra detailing and shaping, you can kind of tell. But at the same time, this thing's really impressive for getting 3 awesome figures and then an amazing build like this. I mean, this one almost looks just as impressive in terms of sheer size. And there's just some really cool playability to it versus the attack shuttle. So there you have it. Just awesome shuttles. And I'm normally not one to buy the ships, but the figures were just so good in these 2 sets that it was too hard to pass up. So thank you so much for letting me stumble my way through this awesome Bad Batch Attack Shuttle review. Thanks for joining me on my journey as I collect all the fun Star Wars Lego I can. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next Star Wars review. Bye for now.